If you stop and look around in Fortnite, you'll realize some things make no sense. The game lets you drive a McLaren, a Lamborghini, even the Adidas car. They go through all this effort, but then flop at the Star Wars event. The Mandalorian was a Battle Pass exclusive, you can't even get the skin anymore. But instead of dropping a new variant, they celebrated a Star Wars event with a random car. It's just one of the countless things in Fortnite that drive me crazy. I mean, you'll be shooting people with your rocket launcher, only to run out of rockets. That's until you look at the RPG you're holding, and it literally has a missile loaded. Another feature that was right within our grasp was the Eminem collab. They designed an entire concert, announced festival with Slim Shady, and dropped a whole outfit only for us to boot up the mode he promoted and not have any Eminem songs. It has been half a year and nothing. And to make things worse, Metallica's concert just happened and their songs have been a festival for weeks. What is the excuse here? I've come to learn sometimes things have no explanation, like the mech loading screen. It looks perfectly normal from a distance until you look at this for more than a second. That's when you'll notice that Brute Navigator is controlling the guns, while Brute Gunner is navigating. You had one job, Epic. Someone who could take on that mech is the Hulk, and I gotta admit, it was crazy to see him in Fortnite. He's so massive, it seemed impossible to pull off, and yet Hulk's outfit still makes zero sense. Other skins like She-Hulk, Venom, All Might, even Beast Boy can transform into their alter egos. As for our favorite green guy, if you want a Bruce Banner with them, tough luck. Now that I think about it, how do ziplines even work? I know it's a weird question, but hear me out. This is what going down one looks like. Like, how is this happening? Why would a magnet above our head carry us? Is our brain made of metal or something? Okay, I can suspend my disbelief, but there is no excuse for the Invincible collab. They gave us Mark, Omni-Man, and Adam Eve, calling this the Guardians of the Globe bundle. Pretty sweet until you realize none of these are in the Guardians of the Globe. Why did they call it that? They might be superheroes, but your average Fortnite player definitely isn't. So why does this not throw us off a plane? We super glued to the wing or something? Now, one of the funniest plot holes is part of the new Fallout collab. They designed an entire wrap so you could read the kill counter on the side. I love it, except when you wear this with the power armor, it becomes useless. The suit is way too big and clunky, it blocks a wrap, and it's one of the only skins that do this. Pretty hilarious. One collab that had us scratching our heads is the latest Loki bundle. This dropped around the same time as the Thor Ragnarok set, and there's one common thread that links Loki, Hela, and Sylvie. They are all gods from Norse mythology. It was perfect for a season that's also full of, wait, it was Greek mythology. These guys are in the wrong place. And can someone explain to me how refueling your car involves hosing it down? If that wasn't strange enough, this literally works on electric vehicles too, letting you recharge a battery with gas. What? One of my biggest questions for Epic involves the Spider-Verse characters. Both Miles and Gwen, they look insane. Easily one of the coolest animated skins in the whole game, but when they were joined by Spider-Man 2099, something felt wrong. Miles and Gwen were translated well, including their faces. And with Miguel appearing in the film mostly unmasked, we expected him to get the same treatment, only for him to be locked to his suit. A collab that's even more puzzling is Family Guy. We were all shocked by the reveal of the giant chicken, but when we saw his pickaxe, it had some weird implications. Let me ask you this, why is a chicken holding drumsticks? There is no scene in the show where he eats these, so did Fortnite turn this guy into a cannibal? Well, that's unless he's eating himself, in which case, I'd argue that's weirder. And don't get me started about what happens when you give him a cape. The poor guy gets decapitated. Still not as random as the pulse rifle. As you know, this thing fires lasers. I mean, that's the whole point. So tell me why it uses medium bullets. Other guns like the Tri-Beam have infinite ammo and a cooldown, yet we're expected to jam bullets into a pulse rifle. I am not buying it. Players were super confused when Ryan Reynolds came to Fortnite. It was the strangest collab ever. When we heard Free Guy was about to drop, we expected, you know, Guy. And that's only for us to open the game and see Dude instead. He's in the film for like 5 minutes. It reminds me of the time they dropped one of the most anticipated animes in Fortnite, only for it to promote the wrong season. They gave us Eren Yeager, Levi, Mikasa. It was amazing, except we were forced to wear the young versions of these guys, despite the fact it was advertising the final season when, you know, they're fully grown adults. They don't even get me started on the last laugh. This was one of the first paid bundles in the game, and it confused everyone. Imagine doing something incredible incredible, like dropping a DC skin pack during a Marvel season. It's pretty ballsy of Fortnite. Except they kind of watered this down by putting Poison Ivy and the Joker next to Midas. Wouldn't exactly picture him going up against Batman, but now that I think about it, he probably is Batman's arch nemesis, considering it's Jonesy under the mask.
You what?
Another surprise was hidden in the Empire hideout set. This was a Lego bundle that you could buy, only to get a bonus item out of nowhere. Randomly, you get this chair, which didn't appear in the bundle at all, with fans realizing who this truly belonged to. It's a character that isn't even in Fortnite yet, Emperor Palpatine. He's nowhere to be found in game, with his only appearances being a narrator in the live event, and now a Lego chair. At least he's more powerful than the Nitrodrome's dumbest feature. The whole point of this area is to be a battleground for cars, making it even more exciting when you're seeing the spinning blades of death. It is terrifying, and you really don't want to touch it. What if it means certain doom? Wait, that's it? You're telling me the things that can shred you into pieces do less damage than a repair torch? One of the funniest parts of Epic creating over 1,000 Lego skins is how some of them are sculpted from scratch and others are just reused. Kinda like the Marvel skins. Most of these are designed around the original Fortnite outfit. It's pretty impressive. Unless you're Star-Lord, who looks way more like the MCU than the original version. Speaking of random comics, they once dropped Shang-Chi to promote his new MCU film. Everyone was so excited for this, saving up their V-Bucks before opening the shop and seeing some guy.
What is that?
Still not as weird as the time they tried to sell celebrities as soccer players. With the Fortnite Football Club, they randomly put Icon Series skins into soccer kits, and yeah, people like Neymar made sense, but you would also get LeBron James. I think a basketball player feels a little out of place here, or even Chloe Kim, a snowboarder. Even Gref G was here. Well, it's not the only time they dropped a collab that made no sense. When we got the return of Stranger Things, it felt too good to be true. We assumed this was never coming back. They blew us away with the surprise drop of 11, only to drop 2 pickaxes which had nothing to do with her. In fact, they belonged to Eddie and Steve, some of the most popular characters from the show who are nowhere to be seen in Fortnite. A little awkward. The biggest slap in the face was during this year's Star Wars event. After proving they could turn mythic weapons into pickaxes, they still didn't drop a lightsaber in the store. Well, actually they did. But instead of a harvesting tool, we got a boost. That wasn't enough of a troll. They gave us one of the most ridiculous cosmetics in Star Wars history, Darth Maul wheels. One of the longest running head scratchers in Fortnite is the battle bus itself. Every time we've seen this in the trailers, you can clearly see there's only like 25 people in here. There's no way this thing can fit 100 players inside. I'm on to you, Epic. So you're telling me we have a battle bus skin now, along with multiple transformers, yet none of them actually do their job. You can't transform at all, and when characters like Optimus Prime arrived, we never got to see their vehicle version, not even an emote. Still not as bad as the time Fortnite left an embarrassing mistake in for years. The classic assault rifle always had the iron sight placed like this. Yeah, it was backwards from multiple chapters, and Epic secretly flipped it around one day hoping we would never notice. Swag Shot lets us find out the height of our favorite outfits, but after some testing, things are not adding up here. Thanos in the MCU is 8'3" and Peter Griffin is 6 feet, but in Fortnite, Peter Griffin is somehow taller. Do not get me started on Beely being nearly 7 feet. And everyone was left speechless when Fortnitemares 2022 dropped. Instead of handing us a classic Halloween character like Jason Voorhees or something, we got Mr. Meeseeks. Him and Summer were the most random additions ever, and it got even worse when we looked at the Horde Rush LTM. Right there in the picture, you could spot Pickle Rick, probably the weirdest Halloween collab we'll ever have. My biggest question involves Midas. For years, it's been pretty well known that he can control his touch. It shows up in cutscenes, trailers, loading screens, you name it. And yet, just recently, we learned that Jules had to make a pair of gauntlets for Midas, letting him finally control his power. I mean, what? He's been able to do that the whole time. Okay, I realize I've been a little nitpicky. Don't take anything in this video seriously. I've made it for entertainment purposes, even though a lot of it still makes zero sense. But it has been Tommy and Cupid here on Top 5 Gaming.